back to the MMAOB Daily Podcast, Sunday, February 4th, 2024. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. Trevin, my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. We just finished the UFC Vegas 85, the Leeds versus Imavov recap. Now we're going to go to the UFC 86 preview, Jack Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer. Marcel, looking forward to talk about this card with you, my friend. We got a bunch of fights here. Give me your overall thoughts on this card before we break down the individual fights.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's an okay card. I don't think it's amazing, to be really honest, man, on paper. But it's an okay card. There are some fun fights, and I'm looking forward to the Ige Fili fight. I think that's a fun fight. I think stylistically, Vieira Petrosyan can be something. Giles against Prates is a fun one. I'm really looking forward to Bolaji Oki's debut. He's from Belgium. Close to here, so I'm looking to that one. And I think Wells against Griffin is a fun fight as well, and it's kind of low on the card, man, to be honest, that one. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the card's pretty good. There's 14 fights on it. Like you said, there's a few throwaway fights, but there's some prospects to look forward to, and there's a couple of veterans as well. So I'm looking forward to the card. All right, we got Octagon updates in the chat. You ready to go, brother? We're going to start breaking down these fights in a second here. Like I said, 14 fights. We'll use the UFC stats bout order. There was 2 changes to the card. Marcel has the new fights on his Instagram. I'll just talk about them when we get to them. So we'll just use the same bout order, okay? All right, let's get to the first fight, guys. We have the bantamweights, Daniel Marcos taking on Aoriqileng. Odds for this one have Marcos favored -225, Aoriqileng +190. I'll just start this one off. Marcel, I really like Daniel Marcos in this fight. I think he wins pretty easily, to be honest. I think the fight probably goes the distance just because Aoriqileng is a tough dude, although he did get knocked out by Amil Zahabi, but very, very hittable. We know about this guy already. Marcos, good striker. The fight with Davey Grant, I mean, that fight, he probably should have lost that fight, but he was competitive with him, and obviously he's undefeated, 15-0, looked great in Contender Series, looked great in his debut in the UFC. I just think he had a really tough opponent. I think Davey Grant's an awesome fighter, and he's had some time to kind of learn from that fight. It's been like 7-8 months now since it's been in the cage. That time's gone by fast. Aoriqileng, again, 3-3 in the UFC. He's looked better lately. I'll give him that. But fighting bottom of the barrel fighters in the UFC, all the guys he's fought are cut now from the UFC that he beat. I just don't think he's that great personally. So he is experienced. He's tough. It'll probably go the 3 rounds, but I'm pretty sure Marcos wins this fight by decision. What do you think?
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to pick Aoriqileng in this fight. I feel like Marcos is a talented guy. We've seen him so far in the octagon a couple of times, and he looks good. I agree with you. The Grant fight, he likely shouldn't have won that one, but he got the win there, so good for him. I'm happy he's back. He was supposed to fight in Sao Paulo against Victor Hugo. I think that fight fell through last minute. I'm picking Marcos here. Also picking by finish, man. I think he knocks Aoriqileng out probably in the first or second round.
It's possible. Definitely possible. I mean, because Amon Zahabi knocked him out. Amon doesn't have a ton of power, I don't think. So that's he's shown a little bit of power, but nothing amazing. Yeah, Marcos KO decision makes sense, I think. 1 second here, guys. I opened up a window, and there we go. Okay, closed. This should be better now. All right. Go to the next fight, Marcel. We have this is a different fight, I think, now. So Fernie Garcia is taking the fight at short notice, right, against Hyder Amil. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk about that one now. Odds for this one have let's see here. I don't know if they're. Let me check if the odds are out. I don't know if they are. Yeah, they are. Okay, -185 Hyder Amil, +160 Fernando Garcia. It's Fernie Garcia. Yeah, I like Hyder Amil in this. I'll start on this one too. I like Hyder Amil in this fight, especially because Fernie's moving up in weight now, right? On short notice, it's even more of a reason to like Hyder Amil. I think he's a pretty good prospect, man. Obviously, he's another guy's undefeated, 8-0, former Bellator fighter. He had a really good fight in Contender Series as well. He got taken down a couple times, but kept getting back up. Showed really good cardio. Pretty good striker. Showed some good scrambles in that fight as well. Obviously not tested in the UFC level, but he is fighting a guy who's 0-3 in the UFC. It's hard to bet those guys, pick those guys even like Fernie Garcia. Just haven't had any success. Fernie's tough. Fight probably goes the 3 rounds, just like Hyder's Contender Series fight, but I think this is a much easier fight than Melsic Bagdasaryan and Marcel. I think he's kind of getting a real lucky one here. I think he wins the decision, Hyder and Mill. What do you think?
Okay, here's my first dog pick of the night. I'm picking Fernie.
Oh, okay.
I think Fernie is I think Fernie's kind of underrated, man. I think many people think like he's not that great, and he hasn't showed that much in the octagon. I gotta say, man, against Rinya Nakamura, he lost. Well, he was super tough in that fight, and he had his success on the feet, not on the ground. I think we'll be tough with Hyder Amil. I think we'll be a close decision. But yeah, close decision. I'm going with the dog here. I'm picking Fernie Garcia to get the win.
There we go. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got a dog pick by Marcel there. So go to the next fight. We have the light heavyweights as Zach Pauga takes on Bogdan Guskov. Minus 140 Pauga, plus 120 Guskov. For me, it's Pauga to win this fight, but it's these guys are both tough to be confident in. Zach hasn't really looked great in the UFC. I just noticed, by the way, he has a nickname. I'm the High Chief. It's a pretty cool nickname, but I don't think he's looked that great in the UFC. Gets knocked out by Mo Usman, beats Jordan Wright, who's not in the UFC now, and then Modestas beats him, and then Guskov obviously comes to the UFC with this good record, but gets smoked by Volkan, who's a top 10 guy, so it's really hard to know kind of where he is. Odds are very close for this one. My feeling, though, is Guskov will probably gas out after the first round, and Pauga takes over. I think Pauga could finish him by strikes or win the decision, but that's my pick. It's just, again, I'm not too high on him right now. What do you think?
Yeah, it's difficult, because we've seen Guskov against Ozdemir, right? And Ozdemir did well against him, but Ozdemir is still a great fighter, probably. I still don't know where I can put Ozdemir right now, but he clearly won that fight against Guskov. Pauga, difficult guy to measure in my opinion, but then he got knocked out against Usman, man, and I think Guskov can knock him out, dude. So I'm going with Guskov here, man. I think Guskov can knock him out.
Well, hit the button then, because you have a dog pick. So
yeah, so I think Guskov wins by knockout, and probably early in the fight.
Marcel's got 2 dog picks, man. Here we go. Yeah, Fernie needs that one for sure. Guskov, round 1 or bust. Yeah, he might. These guys like him. What's up, Glenbot? The real Glenn's not here today, unfortunately. It's a Sunday podcast, but that's okay. We got Glenbot here, so that's cool. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. This fight should be higher in the card. Max Griffin
for sure.
On Jeremiah Wells. This is a good fight, and I kind of feel like it's almost a little disrespectful. This is so buried on the prelims because these guys are veterans that have put on, I think, good careers in the UFC so far. Minus 175 for Jeremiah Wells, plus 150 Max Griffin. I'm actually curious to hear your thoughts on this one. What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, this is a pretty clear one. What's going to happen? I think Griffin will try to make it standing. I think Wells tried to take it to the ground. And I think Wells will be successful in 2 of those 3 rounds. So I'm going with Jeremiah Wells by decision here.
There you go. Okay, so there you go. Marcel has that breakdown. Well, this is one I'm going back and forth on, but Marcel, in the end, I need you to hit that button, man. Hit the button. Yeah. Dog pick for me, Max Griffin by decision, I think. I think this fight's going 3 rounds, but the reason I like Max is because I think he's just had a really underrated career in the UFC. He's been in the UFC a long time. Almost all of his fights go the distance. We know he's got great cardio for 50 minutes, and these fights are close. Like, I thought he beat Neil Magny a couple years, was it 2 years ago now? The Michael Morales fight, and he's fighting the best prospect, one of them at 170, one of the best prospects. And it was a pretty competitive fight. It wasn't like a blowout by any means, So he's still in the fight. And Wells is definitely a good fighter, but I've seen some holes in this game the last 2 fights. Against Semmelsberg, gets dropped twice, wins a split decision because of the ground control. And then against Carlson Harris, again, controlling him on the ground, but gets tired and gets choked out in the 3rd round. It's concerning. I really like the guy. He's got insane knockout power. We've seen that against Morley Alves. We've seen that against Court McGee, but I don't know about this one, man. And I also feel like, I know both guys, Max Griffin's actually the older fighter, but Wells, he got a little quick, I kind of feel like, too. I really like both guys. I kind of hate they matched them up because I like both guys, and I like picking both guys, especially I like picking Jeremiah Wells, but I like Griffin in this matchup. I think he can actually keep the fight standing. Like you said, it's going to be him trying to keep the fight on the feet, Wells trying to take it down. But I think Griffin can keep it standing for the most part and outstrike Wells and win the decision. So I'll say Wells wins the 1st round, gets Griffin down, gets a little tired. Griffin wins the 2nd round, close round, then wins the 3rd round, wins the decision. So this could be a fight to look at, maybe a split decision prop too, because both these guys have gone to splits, and this should be a pretty competitive fight. But for me, it's going to be Max Griffin by decision. So there we go. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got we got Devin Clark taking on Marcin Prachnio. Odds for this one, Devin Clark favored, -185, Prachnio +160. You know, Marcel, this is another one, like, these light heavyweight fights, man, they could go either way, I think. Prachnio's a guy, I barely pick this guy. I barely pick him in his fights. I think I picked him, like, maybe once or twice his whole career in the UFC. I'm just not high on him, but he's definitely, like, a good striker. We've seen that. The problem is the ground game is just, it's not good. The takedown defense is 54%. Terrible takedown defense. And Devin Clark is a pretty good wrestler, man. He's averaging over 2 takedowns a fight. He's tough as hell. We know that as well. I think Devin Clark grinds him out. I don't think it's going to be very exciting. I think Devin Clark just pushes him against the fence, gets him down when he can, and grinds out a decision here. So Devin Clark, but again, it's these light heavyweight fights, they're kind of weird sometimes, and this is not really one I'd want to lay the juice on, but I do think he probably grinds it out with a decision. What do you think?
Yeah, man, Marcin has been training for years in the Netherlands. He also lives here. So, yeah, he's, I mean, he ain't bad, but he is also not like you say, like next level or whatever. You know what I mean? But same goes for Devin Clark, man. I was like Devin Clark last time. It's like he's finally now going up after the Dao and Jung win, you know, and then he loses against Kennedy, you know. So both guys are really like inconsistent, but gotta favor Clark here a little bit more, you know, because of the wrestling indeed. Decision win for Clark, but this is also one that can go both ways, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Going on in the chat. These aren't some of these are throwaway fights, although I do like that Wells and Griffin fight. No, I hate that they matched them up against each other because I like both guys. All right, here's the fight. People's main event. No, I'm joking. Loma Lookboonmee against Bruna Brasil. Odds for this one: Loma -250, Bruna +210. You know, I know Loma is so tiny for this division, and that's the only problem I have here because if you look at the size, it's 5'1" versus 5'6". You know, short reach, but Bruna Brasil just does not really pass the eye test for me, man. She has it. I know she beat Shauna Banner last night. It was not impressive. Loma, you know, has a lot of experience now in the UFC. She's getting better too. You know, her ground game's getting better, which is nice to see because obviously she's a good striker. But I like the fact her ground game's getting better. She's using her takedowns a lot more in her fights. I do think she could take Bruna Brasil down in this fight too and kind of grind her out. So for me, it's Loma by decision. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy fight to pick, in my opinion. You know, I'm not really high on Bruna Brasil at all, to be really honest. Although she won against Shauna Bannon, but I don't think it was a great fight. I think Loma wins, man. I really was impressed by Loma last time out. You know, I mean, she is pretty much a striker, but she did very well against Reed, and she choked her out in the second round. I think Loma wins. I'm going with a decision win for Loma here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this fight goes the distance as well. Pretty sure it does, anyways. I like the odds on it. I mean, I think it's just a fair line, -250. You know, it's a fair line. You know. All right, we'll go to the next fight. We got Damir Hadzovic taking on Marcel's boy from Belgium, Bolaji Oki. I'm really looking forward to his debut, man, and he is a big favorite here, -240, +205 on the Bosnian bomber, Damir Hadzovic. Bro, I really like Oki in this fight. I mean, he's the one guy I'm looking forward to, I think, more than anyone on this whole card. I was so impressed by his debut, man, when he beat that Dylan Salvador guy. That is like such a big win against a high-level striker. He knocks him out. And not only that, bro, the way he finished him with the body punches, Marcel, and the combinations he was landing, it was absolutely fucking beautiful to watch. It was one of my favorite knockouts of the year last year. It was on Contender. And I really like this guy. And I looked at his Instagram. He's training at Extreme Couture now. So yeah, he's made that move there to that gym. And I think that's amazing for his career. And then you got Hadzovic. I looked at his Instagram too. I just wanted to see what he was looking like because he hasn't fought in a while. He's in great shape. He hasn't fought in 2 years, but he is in great shape for this fight. The problem is, though, he's 37 now. You know, he's turning 38 this year. And he's a guy that just really hasn't been very consistent in UFC 4-5. Lost 3 of 4. To me, this is a setup fight for Oki to win, Marcel. And not only do I think he wins, but I think he knocks him out. So I'm like Oki here a lot. -240 favorite, but I really like him in this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, man, Oki, I'm also on him. I think he's a big talent. You know, he already was when he fought in the Netherlands often here. The funny thing is, like, for a long time, I had no idea what was his last name, Bolaji or Oki. So my colleague asked him, what's your last name, Bolaji or Oki? Because he calls himself Oki Bolaji. So he's like, My name is Oki Bolaji. My colleague is like, yeah, but what is your last name? Is it Bolaji or is it Oki? He's like, you can call me Bolaji, you can call me Oki, I don't mind. He's like, yeah, but that's not the question. What's your family name? He's like, oh, Oki is my family name, so it's Bolaji Oki. Sorry for the long story. I think he wins. Yeah, probably by TKO, ground and pound. I think he wins against Hadzovic.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it probably does go under 1.5. I think Oki will probably win in the first round. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Trevin Giles taking on Carlos Prates, and I'm looking forward to this guy's debut too because he looked really good in contender as well. And the odds for this one: Prates minus 225, Giles plus 190. I'll let you start on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, fun matchup, man. I think Trevin Giles is kind of the guy who's like really inconsistent in my opinion, but he's fun to watch. You saw against Gabriel Bonfim was over quickly, and that was in the summer of last year. He got some good wins in the UFC. Probably his best win is against Roman Dolidze.
Yep.
Yeah, that's his best win. Lost to Dricus du Plessis, which isn't bad if you look back at it, and he lost to Michael Morales, which is also not bad if you look now at it. Carlos Prates, he got that great win over Mitch Ramirez in the Contender Series. He's from the Fighting Nerds, right? He's a teammate of Caio Borraio, I think. Yeah, fun fighter, man. Good stand-up. I think if Giles wants to win this fight, I think he needs to use his ground game pretty much, But, man, I'm taking Prates here, man. I think Prates can win the fight. I would say Prates in the late third round TKO for me.
I'm picking him too, but, I still have a little bit of hesitation with this guy. It's not like he's some undefeated prospect. Like, he's lost 6 times, so he's definitely, like, a guy that can be beaten. And he is fighting a pretty good fighter in Trevin Giles, a guy who's, like you said, pretty underrated, I would say, as well. 7-5 record in the UFC. I definitely liked what this guy looked like on the show, though. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He looked impressive, and I think they kept saying he was like Anderson Silva a little bit with the striking. We'll see if those comparisons line up in the UFC, but he should win the fight. He's a favorite for a reason. He's my pick, but I don't know. There's something about him, too, that's like I'm on the fence about in this particular matchup because – again, they're not giving him a guy that's like 1-0 or 1-2 or something like that. They're giving him a guy who's 7-5. So this is a good test for this guy. The UFC clearly likes him. They want to see how good he is, and I'm curious to see how good he is too. But for me, the jury's still a little bit in this guy, but he looked good in the show. There's no doubt. He should win the fight. So that's my pick. All right, we get to the main card here, and the first fight is a fight that we actually broke down. I want to say last year, right? Rodolfo Vieira, Armen Petrosyan. This fight got canceled, right? The last second.
Yeah.
Armen got sick or something. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
So we get the rebooking now, and Rodolfo minus 125, Armen plus 105. I can't remember who you picked now, but does your thoughts change? Like, who did you pick before? I can't remember.
I think I picked Rodolfo before, man, but. I wasn't sure back then, and I'm still not sure. You know what I mean? Who did you pick?
I picked Armen, and I got to be honest, I'm still not sure either because I really like the guy. I really like Armen, and I think in this fight he'll have the cardio advantage, right? But the takedown defense still bothers me. He's 36%. That being said, I still think like Rodolfo's going to gas out again. That's the thing, right? Like I just don't trust this guy's gas tank. I think he'll win the first round. He'll take down Armen. It'll be sketchy on the ground, and he could submit him, but. As the fight goes on, I just really think he'll gas out again. So that's why I'm picking Armen. He is a dog here. You can smash the button. He's a dog. Go ahead. That's my second dog pick here. Plus 105 on Armen Petrosyan by decision. That was my pick before, but again, it is very close fight. And the fact he got canceled, it always sketches me out a little bit. So, but I don't know. What do you think?
You know what, man? I'm going with Armen as well, man. I mean,
there we go. Okay, hit the button then.
Yeah, I think if Rodolfo has to win, he has to do it early. I feel, I think Armen's cardio is much better. Yeah, I'm picking Armen as well. You convinced me kind of with thinking a little bit about it. Yeah,
even though I'm not 100% convinced. No, but he's my pick, and that's my thoughts on this one are just like you said. I think he's going to gas. So yeah. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. Michael Johnson taking on Darrius Flowers. Michael Johnson, I think, is favorite here. Minus 140. Menace, plus 120 on Darrius Flowers, the beast mode. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I'm picking Michael Johnson, man. I mean, I have nothing against Darrius Flowers, but Darrius Flowers has his wins are not comparable to what Michael Johnson has done so far. I know he got knocked out against Diego Ferreira, but he looked better in all those fights before. And he looked good against Diakase. He should have won against Malarkey, in my opinion, and looked great against Alan Patrick. So before that, he was on a bad skid. But I got to go Michael Johnson still. I think Michael Johnson probably wins. I don't know how. Maybe decision, maybe a stoppage, but I'm going decision Michael Johnson here.
Me too. I'm picking him too because all the experience. I mean, here's the thing: his record is not amazing. UFC 13-15, so it's a losing record. But like the quality of opponents he's fought over his career is very high level, obviously. Right. Yeah. So he is older though. He's 30. He's turning 38 this year. That's not a great thing. But I don't know, man. I see a lot of holes in Flowers' game. I think the cardio is a problem. I think that's the biggest problem here because I know Johnson can go 3 hard rounds. I think Flowers is going to be dangerous in that first round. There's no doubt about it. He's a strong dude. We saw that tombstone pile driver in his contender fight. That was nice. But the Jake Matthews fight, again, started off really good, right? The gas so fast. And I know that fight was on short notice. It was an elevation. So maybe you'll see something different here, but I'm not convinced. And Johnson, I think, as long as he survives that first round, which is a big if, man, because his chin is, getting compromised now, right? We saw against Ferrer. We saw against Josh Emmett. He could be knocked out, but at the same time, man, I still feel like he's got a little bit of gas left in the tank. And as long as he survives that first round, I think he comes back and knocks out Flowers late. I think the fight doesn't go the distance. I would bet on that too, actually. I think this fight ends inside 3 rounds. I'll take Johnson by knockout. I'll say second round knockout for Johnson. So let's take him. All right, go to the next fight here. We got this is one of my favorite fights in the card, so I really like this fight. We got RoboCop, Greg Rodriguez taking on Brad Tavares, the gatekeeper, at 185. Odds for this one, RoboCop is the favorite here, minus 230, plus 195 on Tavares. Man, I got to go with RoboCop, especially because I love Tavares and his durability throughout his career, but you're seeing the signs of the chin kind of going. You saw Bruno Silva drop him and knock him out. And I know that fight was, it was like a flash knockout a little bit, but you also saw Edmund put him out. He's taking a lot of damage. Even against Chris Weidman, he won that fight because of his low kicks, but he got punched a lot by Weidman, and that's worry, I think. Rodriguez, obviously, he doesn't have the best durability himself. He's been knocked out, but the guy's a beast, man, and obviously his power is ridiculous. He's huge for this weight class. Matches up really well size-wise here with Tavares. A little actually bigger. He's younger, stronger, I would say. Again, more knockout power. And I think this is going to be a good fight for as long as it lasts, but I think RoboCop knocks him out. So what do you think, Ben?
Yeah, man, I feel the same way. I think RoboCop wins the fight, RoboBama. I really like him. I'm happy they rebooked the fight. The fight was supposed to happen at UFC 283 in Brazil.
Boston? Oh, Brazil.
No, in Brazil last year in January. But then RoboCop got Ferreira and he got knocked out against Bruno Ferreira.
That's right.
No, I'm picking RoboCop here. I also think he puts Brad Tavares away, probably the second round.
All right, cool. So we have the same pick there. And let's go to the next fight here. We got this is a short notice fight. Ihor Potieria is dropping down to 185 on short notice. And I believe that our boy Alex Bahunin broke the news, right? I think
he did.
So he's dropping on short notice to 185, taking on Robert Brychek. And the odds, I think, odds are out for this one. Brychek minus 205, Potieria plus 175. I find it difficult to pick Potieria because of the short notice, the weight cut drop, man. I'm just not sure what to think about this guy. You have any thoughts?
Nah, it's difficult, man. Ihor Potieria, he looked good in the first round against Bellato. I remember it was in this early second round, but he got stopped at a certain moment. Hasn't looked great in the UFC, to be fair. He had a good contender series fight, only win against Mauricio Shogun Rua. If you look at Robert Brychek, I don't know too much about him. I know he's an octagon guy. He did well there, but obviously the opponents he fought there aren't really comparable to what he's going to fight in the UFC. So it's really difficult to pick this fight, But the thing is, like, short notice for Ihor Potieria, making 185, I think it's going to be difficult. I'm taking Robert Brychek to win the fight by unanimous decision, probably.
I'm taking the win by knockout. I watched the tape on him today. I mean, he's got a lot of power. There's no doubt about it. Again, he's a guy that's lost a couple of times, and he's looked good though lately. I think he's got 4 straight wins by knockout. He's coming for Octagon. That's a good promotion, by the way.
It is.
That other guy, that Kazakh guy they just signed, he's from there too, right? From Octagon. The guy he's fighting
Yeah.
anymore. Right. So
Oh, this is a different octagon.
Oh, is it? That was a different one? Oh, okay.
This is the octagon with a K and the other is with a C.
Okay, my bad. So, anyways, the one with the K is actually a good promotion. They just did that $1 million final, right? Was it Bojan?
Yeah.
He won. Bojan won.
I don't know who won, but they did. Yeah.
I want to see who won. I gotta double check that. I thought Bojan won. I'm pretty sure he did. Was it Andres Michaelides? Yeah, Bojan won. He won $1 million, right? So that was awesome. But yeah, they had some good prospects come from there, man. They definitely do. It's one of the better promotions in Europe right now. So I like this guy. I think he's fought some good competition over there, and I think he wins this fight. So yeah, I got Robert Burchek. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Dan Ige against Andre Fili, touchy co-main event. Short notice for Andre Fili, filling in for Lerone Murphy. And as you'd imagine, Dan Ige's favorite, minus 175, Fili plus 150. So pretty competitive. Your thoughts on this one, co-main event?
Yeah, so Dan Ige defeats everybody who is not above him or who is not going to be a contender. Pretty much, Andre Fili, he's a fun fighter to watch, but also very inconsistent. But he also loses against guys I don't expect him to lose against, in my opinion. They're kind of a little bit similar, but I feel more with Dan Ige. I still think Dan Ige has more to offer in this fight. I think he's more complete, in my opinion. I think it will be a close fight. I still think Dan Ige wins the decision here. So, long story short, Dan Ige by decision.
I'm the same as you on this one, man. I think it'll be, again, a competitive fight, probably 29-28 type of fight that goes the distance. I mean, most of Fili's fights go the distance. So Ige's. So this one has the makings of a decision to me. But again, Dan took the fight with a full camp. Andre coming on short notice. I don't love that. And, Andre, very inconsistent. I really like the guy, but so inconsistent. And at least Ige, I know he's, not looked amazing lately, but I think he's a little bit more inconsistent. And to be honest, man, if you look at kind of his resume, he only really loses to those top 10 guys. He usually beats the other guys. So he'll defend his ranking here with the decision, and I think it'll be a good fight, though. All right. And I kind of like this comment. He's gatekeeper at a slightly higher level. I kind of agree with that, too. It's funny. All right. We'll get to the main event now, guys. We have middleweights again. Joe Pyfer taking on Jack Hermansson. Body bags is favored here, minus 225. The Joker plus 190. And I'll start on this one too. Listen, I like Jack Hermansson. He's a good fighter who's fought really good competition throughout his career. And he's had a good career in the UFC. He's been there for 8 years now. But I really like Joe Pyfer. I see what everyone else sees in the guy, obviously. This is definitely a step up, I would say. But it's a step I think he can pass. I think the UFC is super high on him. He's won 4 straight fights by stoppage. He's looking better and better every fight. He's knocking guys out. He's submitting them. The UFC is all in on this dude. I'm not all in on him, man, because I still think he's a little bit untested against these elite guys. But I think he's catching Jack Hermansson at a good time. Jack's definitely on the decline after that last fight. That was a brutal finish loss against Elidze. And I'm just not convinced that he's the same guy he once was. I think his durability is a question. He's been knocked out 3 times in the UFC. Piper's got a ton of fucking power. I think Pyfer knocks him out and gets the biggest win in his career. So I'm going Joe Pyfer here. What do you think?
Yeah, the thing with Jack Hermansson is you never know what's going to happen. He's such a odd fighter in my opinion. Last time fought in 2022 against Roman Dolidze. And Joe Pyfer has looked great so far, in the UFC. I was really on the fence against Gerald Meerschaert when he fought him, but he knocked him out. And then the Abdulrazak Alassane was also impressive by the submission in the second round. I gotta go with Pyfer here, man. I think Pyfer has looked good so far in the UFC. This is definitely a step up in competition, but I think he can do it. Does he get a finish? I don't know for sure, man, but I would say so. I think I'm going with the Pyfer by TKO in the second round.
Yeah, I think he knocks Hermansson out too. I like that pick as well. All right, so that's it for the UFC Vegas 86 preview. Anything else you want to talk about, Marcel, before we get out of here? I can't remember. Was there any big news this week in MMA that you want to quickly touch on, or
not really? But maybe we can go to the latest matchups.
We could do that really quick too, because we did a short one here. We'll go do them for 5 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Let's pull up Marcel's page here. 1 second, pulling it up, Marcel. All right, there's a couple of fights, right? I thought this one was official, by the way, but we'll pull it up here. We'll take a few more questions if you guys have them. I'll try to read them. But yeah, so I thought this fight was announced a while ago, wasn't it? Or no?
Which one? Yeah, but
This
Caio
one.
said there was nothing done yet at that moment, you know? So there
I
were
see.
just talks.
Anyways, Paul Craig there we go, against Kyle Baralho. I like Baralho in this fight a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think Paul Craig is on the older side of it, you know, and Baralho is 6 years younger. I really like Baralho. I also think that he's more technical on the ground. And Paul Craig is good on the ground, don't get me wrong, you know, but I think Caio Baralho here.
Yeah, he wins. And then there's a couple other ones. This one we just talked about. By the way, this picture is so funny, eh? He's like the emo version of him. And he's got that picture. Who is it on his arm? Darren Cruikshank, right? You can't see it there, but
yeah,
it really did look like Cruikshank with that beautiful mustache, right?
It does.
That fight. And then this one, Costa versus Boreas. I like this fight a lot too.
Fun fight.
I don't know about this one. I'm not sure. I'm actually not too sure.
I mean, Costa has looked pretty decent so far, you know, in the UFC, and I think Borges, he had a great first round against Joshua Van, but everybody has a great first round against Joshua Van, so it's difficult, but I think it's a fun fighter, a fun fight, yeah.
Petrosyan versus Pedro. I mean, this is. I don't know why this isn't in Brazil. That's a little surprising to me, to be honest with you. I thought they would put him on the pay-per-view card in Brazil, but I'm confident Petrosyan beats this guy.
Yeah, they probably needed more main card fights for that March 2nd card, which still doesn't officially as a main event.
Is it supposed to be Rose and Rebus, or is that a different card?
No, the 87 is the one which should be in Saudi Arabia, but it's now in the Apex.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, good fight, but I favor Prachnio as well. I think almost everybody will.
Yeah, this is a good one too. Cameron Simon versus Peyton Talbot. I gotta be honest, little surprised they're doing this fight because I thought they were higher on Simon, but it looks like they're almost feeding him to Talbot here, man. I got to be honest with you. What do you think?
Yeah, that's actually a co-main event on March 23rd.
Really?
Yeah, it's a fun fight, but I think, man, don't get me wrong. I think Talbot is a fun prospect, but this might be too early for him, man. I really think Simon is good, you know, and Simon lost to Rodriguez last time, but Rodriguez is a great prospect as well, you know.
Yeah, it's a good fight. Jonathan Denise against Austin Lane. Denise knocks him out. 100% confident that he knocks him out. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say so as well.
This is the setup fight. He's a big boy. Didn't you say his father just passed away? Did you tell me that?
Yeah, his father passed away, I think, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
He'll carry a lot of emotion in the cage. I'm 100% sure this guy wins that fight. Austin Lane is just very chinny. Mo Usman versus Mick Parkin. This is short notice replacing Chris Barnett. Pretty sure Parkin actually wins this fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
So I think Usman probably would have beaten Burnett, but look, he got tough tattooed on his neck. It's funny. Junior Tafa, Carl Williams. Good fight. Carl Williams is, you know, a good prospect, but Junior's got power, man.
Yeah, but this is a very tricky fight for Tafa, man, because Tafa doesn't have takedown defense, you know?
None at all. None at all. I don't really know, honestly. I'm not sure about this one. It's Edmund versus, I was going to say Stefan Struve, but it's Dustin Todorovic.
Can you click on the picture?
I think honestly though, I think Edmund knocks him out. I honestly think so. I think Edmund's going to get back on track here. What do you think?
Yeah, very likely. You know, Todorovic hasn't looked great so far in the UFC, in my opinion. Besides maybe one or two fights, but I would say Edmund. And listen, man, we all know if Edmund can get it done early, he will get it done. But he always struggles in the later rounds. You know,
sure does. Trevor Peake, Charlie Campbell. I mean, this is fight of the year written all over it, man. I mean, this is a great fucking fight. This is an amazing fight. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I Peake's got a lot of holes in his game, but he did show more composure in the last fight against Yao. It was boring, but he wrestled him. It was good to see it. That it's not just a brawler. But Campbell, man, he's got some really good hands too. I don't know. This is a kind of a coin flip fight. What do you think?
Yeah, man, this is a crazy one. I have a story, by the way, but I'll tell you after the podcast. Remind me to tell you. Yeah, fun fight, man. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's go to the next fight. We talked about this one. All right, so that's it for that. We'll take a few questions really quick, guys. If you want to ask a couple, I'm just looking at the comments. Any rumors that Rebesky versus the guy Euro submitted last November? Any truth to those rumors?
Oh, the rumors are for Rebesky versus the guy. The oral by guy. I have no idea.
Oh, really? That's the rumor fight? Holy shit, that's a good fight. If that happens. Mukdebek oral by or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some guys are talking about Mick Parkin. I think Mick probably wins that fight. It's it's kind of short notice, but not really. I mean, that fight was just announced with Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett barely fights, by the way, Beast Boy. But yeah. Anyways, all right, let's get out of here, Marcel. I think we're good. I don't know. I think we should get out of here. It's early in the day. I want to go make some lunch. I'm hungry. So, anyways, I really appreciate you guys joining us. Obviously, we did the preview and the recap. If you missed the recap, go back and listen. Marcel, anything else you want to say? Anything you got coming up this week that you want to tell the listeners about?
Nothing big as far as I know. So no, not really.
Do you think it's likely though that we'll get the UFC 300 main event this week? Do you think that's?
Let's hope so, man. People keep talking about it. Give the people what they want. I mean, don't do it so difficult.
I think tickets aren't on sale yet, or are they? Did they go on sale yet?
I have no idea. Probably not. You know, but I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh, actually, you know what? This is a great question. Just really quick. Anything with that Dustin Poirier and Benoit thing? Did you hear anything behind the scenes about that? Did you hear anything?
No, but I have my theory on it. But
well, it was a money grab by Dustin, you think, or?
Listen, man, what I think is that the UFC proposed a fight to both guys, and I think they got to a deal with Benoit, and they probably, I think Dustin said, yeah, but we have to negotiate or something, no? And they didn't, and then Dustin was like, I'm going to social media and say the fight is off, you know? And then so much backlash comes off it, and Dana gets annoyed. So listen, man, and then Dustin saying like, was a miscommunication. I didn't talk to my manager. Come on, man. You know, and somebody replied to that. What is your manager, Amish or something? You know, I mean, and that doesn't make any sense. So, my opinion, I think Dana or Hunter reached out to Dustin or Tiki, which is his manager, and was like, fuck. Let us know what you want for this fight, you know, and make sure you say something on social media that there was a miscommunication from your side, you know, so we don't look bad. You know what I mean?
What do you think about Dana calling out Guilherme Cruz? Any thoughts on
Stupid.
that?
Doesn't make sense, man. I mean, Guilherme just showed a clip from what he talked to Daniel Warren, who was like BSD's manager, BSD's coach. So didn't do anything wrong, man. And people going after him, and also that Nina chick, you know, she's also like, oh yeah, that was bad of his. Stop bootlicking, man. I mean, I don't mind Nina, you know, but stop bootlicking so hard, you know.
Yeah, I mean, she's in the UFC's pocketbook at this point, probably. But anyways, all right. I mean, there's a question for. Oh, go ahead.
And also then with the contract of Luque, you know, with Ali posting, it's like, guys, what? Let it be. You know what I mean? It's like if Dana wants to rant, let them rant. But I really can't stand like all these people are backing Dana. I'm like, yeah. I mean, how dare you? Listen, if they did anything wrong, I would say they did anything wrong, you know. But Guillermo didn't do anything wrong, you know. So why would why would you hate on the dude, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. All right. There's a couple comments here. Gabriel's asking about Elvis Brenner Favola. Is that, I know Favola was talking about that. Is that happening? Have you heard?
I know they both wanted, but I have no idea if that's anything that's going to happen. I have no idea.
I mean, it'd be a fucking good fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, in Brazil too, right? I think it would be in Brazil. I mean, man, Matt just takes the toughest fights though. Brenner is like very, very good. I think we'll see that. You know, we know that now. We weren't sure, and then he beats what's his name? Kutateladze, right? So and I like Garam too. I mean, obviously lost that fight, but he's a good prospect. Chris, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I had a good night. I mean, with the picks and everything like that. So, all right. Anyways, let's get out of here, Marcel. Appreciate you guys joining us today, as always, my friends. We'll be back next week to the recap of the preview. So, have a great weekend, everyone. Talk to you later. Peace.